Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and I'm fresh as a daisy, so I'm going to review another movie with a vowel in it. This is the letter I, and this is a 2002 action comedy that I think is very underrated. It was very overlooked. It should not have come out in November because I think at that time you had like the second Harry Potter movie, I believe, Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, and you were a month away from Lord of the Rings Two Towers, so this movie didn't stand a chance, and that is I Spy with My Little Eye. Espionage with attitude, funny and incredibly fast paced. I agree with that. This is an underrated movie. Yes, this is a Sony film, but believe me, this is not as bad as Fembusters. I can at least say that without any question. This film cost $70 million, mainly because of the cast that they got. You got Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson, and you have Famke Janssen. You have Roddy McDowell. I mean, not Roddy McDowell. I mean, Malcolm McDowell's in the film in a cameo. You got other people in the movie. Let's see. You got Gary Cole from Office Space. You got Phil Lewis, Linda Boyd in a small part, Crystal Lowe as a beautiful girl. Yes, she is, and a couple other people. But I think this film is a lot of fun. I saw this movie 2 years ago when I went to Six Flags. I thought Eddie Murphy, he has energy in the movie. He's not dry. He's not phoning it in. And does it have problems? Yes, it does. Is it a faithful adaptation of the TV show? I wouldn't know. I didn't watch the show with Bill Cosby. But as a standalone feature film, I like the film. I don't think it deserves 3 Razzies. Give me a break. 3 Razzies for this, and Kevin Hart never gets a single Razzie, and he's one of the shittiest comedic actors I've seen in recent memory. Because this got a nomination for 3 Razzies. Worst remake. It's a remake of of a TV show that I never watched. Worst actor Eddie Murphy. I'm sorry, this is not his worst performance. See Pluto Nash. See the remake of not Doctor Doolittle, of Mister freaking Nutty Professor. I didn't like that. Him playing like 14 characters. I didn't like that. See Norbit. Those are way worse than this. This and him and the worst couple with him and Owen Wilson. I actually like the two of them together because they're different. They're It's not just a race thing. They're okay together. I don't think they're horrible. I mean, they're a lot better than freaking Ice Cube and freaking Kevin Hart and Ride Along. They have no chemistry. They look like they want to strangle each other. But these two, they're bearable. There's some funny moments with them together. There's a scene where Owen Wilson is trying to seduce, to actually Famke Janssen is trying to seduce him. I admit she looks good in this film, but nowadays I don't care for her as an actress anymore. And he's singing the Marvin Gaye song "Sexual Healing" because Eddie Murphy's listening to him in a contact lens where he can see what's going on, and he's just like macking to Famke Janssen, and I'm like, it's kind of fun to watch that. And there's a scene in the sewer where they're getting emotional, and they're talking. That made me laugh, and Eddie Murphy makes me laugh. Like there's a scene where he just punches a guy in the ring, because he's a boxer, and it was a good fight. I could see what was going on. It was short, and the movie's only 97 minutes long. It's not 2 hours. It doesn't drag. It's got a lot of good action. I thought Betty Thomas did a good job directing the movie. She's a good director. She did Alvin and the Chipmunks the Squeakquel, and she did other stuff as well. And I like the film. I liked what she presented here. She doesn't shake the camera. She doesn't do 15 billion explosions like Michael Bay. She doesn't extend the running time to 2 hours like some of these, like Judd Apatow films. No, she does a good job with what she's given. The writing was fine. I mean, it was decent. The plot is basically simple. Right here it says, um, I'll just give a brief synopsis. The Bureau of National Security Headquarters Special Agent Alex Scott is accosted by his rival Carlos, that's some Spanish guy that doesn't matter in the film. On his next mission, Scott is assigned to recover a stolen figure, the Switchblade plane, sold to arms dealers Arnold Gundars. Gundars is sponsoring middleweight boxing world champion Kelly Robinson next match and using the event to auction his plane. The agency has contacted Robinson and assigned him to be the civilian cover for Scott's mission. Scott and Robinson travel to Budapest, where Scott plans to penetrate Gundar's compound during a free fight party. Basically, that's the synopsis. Yeah, that Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson have to stop this arms dealer from unleashing this plane and hurting people and, doing their take over the world bit. But is it cliche? Yes. Is it the best action comedy I've seen? Of course not. Is this a 21 Jump Street? No. But this is not freaking Ride Along. This is not Fembusters where there's stupid agendas. It's fast cars and explosions, but not a Michael Bay movie, which is 2.5 hours. Eddie Murphy's fine. I don't think he's bad in the movie. He's not. At least he's not wearing fat suits or bad makeup or doing a shitty accent or he's not phoning it in. I liked him. I watched Distinguished Gentleman like a few weeks ago, and it was good. It made me laugh, and he has energy in this movie. This was in 2002. This is when Eddie Murphy was doing big budget films. I miss him. I want to see him back. I don't care about Kevin Hart. He is not funny to me. Eddie Murphy, even in his movies that flop, make me laugh. This movie made me laugh. I think it's decent. I think it's underrated. The film is not high art. It's entertaining. It's popcorn entertainment, and I can roll with that. My honest opinion is I think it's underrated. Like I saw this movie, I'm like, please don't be a shitty movie. And I saw it, and I'm like, huh, Eddie Murphy made me laugh a couple times. I don't care what the dialogue is. He can make bad dialogue work. I mean, the scene that he punches the guy in the ring and he's like, yo, I will knock your ass out. And I'm like, yeah, he's fun to watch. I'm sorry. He's more fun to watch than Kevin Hart or Chris Tucker or freaking, I don't even know who else. Ice Cube, I like in other films like Friday and Next Friday and Friday After Next. But when he's with like Charlie Day and Fist Fight, I can't see that. But the plot is a spy film. Like it's basically like before Spy came out. And I like the locations. The cinematography is actually really well done because Betty Thomas knows how to direct a movie, and it's not too long. I mean, who wrote the movie? You have Marion Wibberley and Cormac Wibberley and Jay Sherrick and Dan Ron, David Ron did the story. So yeah, it's flawed, but I think that it's a very very entertaining action comedy. I laughed a couple times. It's fast paced. It's not too long. Great locations. Eddie Murphy's giving some effort, so I can at least give him that. Because in Pluto Nash, yeah, I've heard that's terrible, and he's just phoning it in, and that's just a bunch of stupid jokes. Here, as an adaptation, I don't know. They say it's kind of weak, but as a standalone movie, I think it's a lot of fun. And if you give it a chance, I don't think it's the worst thing ever. See Ride Along. That movie made $100 million. This movie barely broke even. It flopped. It made like 60 million, and on a budget of 70. I don't understand it. This is like a guilty pleasure. If you want to see Eddie Murphy being, a boxer and being a spy in a secret spy mission, this is the movie for you. And Owen Wilson is fine in the movie. There's a scene I think that him and Eddie Murphy are fighting each other, and he's like, "You knocking a black man out" or something like that. Yeah, they throw the race card in it, but it's funny here. They don't say the N word, which I appreciate. It's PG-13, so it's not a hard R. So you can watch this with your kids if they're interested. If they've seen a Marvel movie, they can see this and SWAT, but I can't review that because it's S. But it's not a terrible movie. Even Famke Janssen, I'm not a fan of her, but here she's like some secret agent that is like in league with she's in cahoots with the villain. There's a scene that where she wants to cut Eddie Murphy's dick off, but they don't show it, thankfully, and that doesn't happen. It's basically a test. And at the end, she gets arrested. So hey, all's fair in love and war. And Owen Wilson and Eddie Murphy are not terrible together. I've seen worse. This is not Wild Wild West. That is way worse. That movie had a much bigger budget, and Will Smith at that time was just phoning it in. That was a paycheck for Eddie Murphy. It could have been a lot worse, and I think it's underrated. It's not his best, but it's certainly not his worst. And with the films that I've seen last year, some of the action films and even the last comedy I saw, action comedy I saw a couple of years ago, this is way better. I can watch this again. It's fun. It's not meant to be taken seriously. And I could it was a lot. It has good features too. There was a commentary I heard, and it's not so bad. I would say watch I Spy. It's not horrible. Just keep your expectations low. Go in with an open mind. Shut your brain off and just have a fun time with popcorn and some butter and some freaking water or juice or whatever, and just go for it. It's not terrible. I promise you, it's not the worst thing ever. So anyway, Rotten Tomatoes is wrong. They give it like a 14%. It's not that bad. This is not Snatched or Ride Along 2 or Daddy's Home 2. No, fuck those movies. I'd rather watch I Spy. At least I get a nice, fun popcorn movie for 97 minutes. and that's not a big investment of time. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm glad I got to review this. As my letter I, so I still need U and E, and I think that's it. I did A and I and I think O. Yeah, so I'll just need E and U, and that's it. And but I'm gonna continue reviewing movies with the letter A and I and O, U, and sometimes Y. So yeah, I Spy recommended. I don't think it's horrible. I'm sorry, I've seen worse. I've seen way freaking worse. Work action comedies that I didn't laugh once, like freaking This Means War. You waste a good cast like Chris Pine and Tom Hardy and freaking Reese Witherspoon, and I did not laugh once. It was just a bunch of vulgar humor that wasn't funny, sex jokes, Chelsea Handler being annoying, and the two guys had more chemistry with each other than they did with the woman. I didn't care who got her at the end. This, I like Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson. I don't think it's that bad. It's not the worst pairing ever. I've seen way worse pairings. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.